This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. Good morning, I'm John Trout. It's Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Here's what's coming up on America in the Morning.
Food banks around the country are seeing increased demand as people look to replace federal food benefits that were cut off. I'm Jennifer King.
President Trump threatens possible action against Nigeria. I'm Clayton Neville.
U.S. District Judge Colleen Keller-Cotelli ruled the Proof of Citizenship Directive is an unconstitutional violation of the separation of powers. I'm Mike Hempen.
President Trump is declining to clarify if the U.S. will conduct tests of its nuclear weapons. Ed Donahue, Washington.
A mass stabbing on a London-bound train has left 11 people injured.
It's the world's most valuable toilet. I'm Donna Warder.
YouTube TV viewers have lost access to Disney channels. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
All ahead on America in the Morning. The finger-pointing on Capitol Hill over who's to blame for the government shutdown continues. Correspondent John Stolnis has the latest from Washington.
Speaking on CBS's 60 Minutes, the president reiterating it's not up to Republicans to end the shutdown.
And the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. They've lost their way. They become crazed lunatics.
The Senate has voted no on the extension more than a dozen times, needing 5 Democrats to change their minds in order to reopen the government. Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on CNN's State of the Union can't understand why House Speaker Mike Johnson has kept Republicans home for the last 4 weeks as the shutdown drones on.
They keep canceling votes. They've canceled votes for next week. Of course they are unserious as it relates to reopening the government.
Trump is urging Senate Majority Leader John Thune to engage the nuclear option, a change in Senate rules that would end the filibuster and the requirement that 60 votes are needed to pass budgetary legislation like the existing CR.
If we end the filibuster, we can do exactly what we want. We're not going to lose power.
On ABC's This Week, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine calls on Trump to engage with congressional leaders.
We're looking for a path to fix people's health care costs, and we're looking for the president to agree that a deal is a deal. Thus far, he's refused to engage.
John Stolnis, Washington.
While the shutdown drags on, correspondent Jennifer King reports lines at food banks are beginning to grow.
Food banks around the country are seeing increased demand as people look to replace federal food benefits that were cut off. Joseph Rettler volunteers at a church food pantry in the Bronx.
It's real bad now. It's so much people, it goes all the way around the block.
The Department of Agriculture, which manages SNAP, planned to withhold payments starting Saturday until 2 federal judges ordered them to use contingency funds to cover the program. It's unclear when the beneficiary cards will be reloaded. The safety net serves more than 12% of Americans, around 42 million people. At a church food giveaway in Louisville, Kentucky, 74-year-old James Jackson says lawmakers should try harder to understand the challenges of poverty and food insecurity.
SNAP should not be about politics when we got to feed the people.
I'm Jennifer King.
President Trump accusing the Nigerian government of not doing enough to protect Christians against Islamist militant groups. Correspondent Clayton Neville explains.
Recent months have brought claims in some right-wing circles that there's a genocide against Nigeria's Christians. Some reporting, though, indicates there is no evidence suggesting Christians are being killed more than Muslims in that country. Nigeria is nearly a split of followers of the two religions. In a social media post over the weekend, President Trump urged the U.S. Department of War to prepare for possible action. He said the U.S. military could be sent into Nigeria, quote, guns a-blazing, unless the Nigerian government intervenes. He also insisted that all aid to what he called the now disgraced country would be cut. The president added that if the U.S. were to attack, it would be, quote, fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians. I'm Clayton Neville.
The top stories of the day are sponsored by Sleep Number. Enjoy personalized comfort for better sleep night after night. And now, it's the Buy More and Save More event. Save on beds, bases, pillows, and more. Only at Sleep Number or sleepnumber.com. Welcome back. You're with America in the Morning. We start the week with a fresh new month. And the nation's forecast with AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
In general, many parts of the nation will continue to benefit from quite a bit of sunshine as we start this new week, with a large expanse of high pressure straight from the south through California, much of the Rocky Mountain states and plains, even into a large portion of the upper Midwest, while the southeast has a somewhat cool Monday in its future as chillier conditions filter eastward through more of the Gulf Coast and toward the high ground of the Carolinas. Warmer air continues to hold firm into the southwest, while backing away just a bit from the Dakotas today. Essentially, all of this means that, yes, for many parts of the United States, there's just not going to be very much happening today in terms of the weather. However, not all places will be dry today, and in the Northwest, a rather poorly organized disturbance pushing on shore will mean some rain and mountain snow showers from Washington to northern and western Oregon, even clipping far northwestern California and far western Montana by the end of the day. This does signal the start of a more active pattern for the West Coast, with another storm later tomorrow set to bring far more impactful rain to the area. Toward the East Coast, a coastal storm that brought plenty of rain to the southeast and especially the Carolinas on Sunday pulled its way to the north and east today, at least grazing some of the major northeast cities of the I-95 corridor with showers, while steadier rain hugs the coast from Virginia to the Boston area. Farther to the north and west of there, a completely separate storm delivers rain showers and an area of steady rain and drizzle for parts of lower Michigan this morning, then into much of New York and all of northern New England this afternoon. In Yakima, Washington, today looks cloudy and cooler with some showers, the high getting up to 48. For Memphis, morning fog gives way to plenty of sun for today with a high of 65. That's the nation's weather. I'm AccuWeather.com meteorologist LaTroy Thornton.
You can follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Simply search America in the Morning in your favorite listening app. I'm John Trout. A federal judge has issued their ruling on President Trump's request for proof of citizenship on voting forms. The outcome with Correspondent Mike Hempen.
U.S. District Judge Colleen Cotelli ruled the Proof of Citizenship Directive is an unconstitutional violation of the separation of powers. She also says the Constitution assigns responsibility for election regulation to the states and to Congress, and that the president does not have the authority to direct such changes. The administration and its allies have argued that such a mandate is necessary to restore public confidence in U.S. elections. The White House has issued a statement saying President Trump has exercised his lawful authority to ensure only American citizens are casting ballots in American elections. We expect to be vindicated by a higher court. I'm Mike Hempen.
President Trump said on social media that he wants the U.S. to resume nuclear weapons testing, but correspondent Ed Donahue reports the White House is keeping quiet on what that testing will look like.
President Trump is declining to clarify if the U.S. will conduct tests of its nuclear weapons. It's been more than 30 years since the last U.S. test of a nuclear weapon. The president seemed to suggest it could happen soon in a social media post.
You'll find out very soon, but we're going to do some testing, yeah.
On Air Force One, the president wouldn't elaborate when asked if he means to resume underground nuclear detonation tests.
Other countries do, and if they're going to do it, we're going to do it.
Okay, you can't clarify whether you will resume.
I'm not going to say yet.
The president has talked about resuming nuclear warhead tests on an equal basis with Russia and China, but their last known tests were in the 1990s. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth seemed to indicate to reporters the intent was to test warheads when he said resuming testing would be pretty responsible. Ed Donahue, Washington.
This is America in the Morning. The Business Report is sponsored by Gusto. Gusto's a simple online payroll and benefits tool built for small business. Learn more at gusto.com/radio. Here's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger.
Wall Street opens this morning to start November trading with a winning October in the books. And let's check the major averages year to date. The Dow is up 11%. The S&P 500 index, a lot of people have an S&P 500 index fund in a retirement account. It's up 16% so far this year. The NASDAQ is up 22%.
I am very focused on the market's exhibited concerns about the underlying economy. The consumer is getting pinched. I mean, if you look at the weekly, like Dallas Fed weekly activity indicator, it's still saying we have like a 2%-ish plus or minus trend in the third and fourth quarter on GDP. Maybe that's right.
Which is weird because the qualitative on Dallas Fed reads like we're in recession.
Yeah. No, well, but that's what it is, right? So it's companies that are trying to figure out if things look like they're getting tougher or easier from here.
That's CNBC's Mike Santoli and Carl Quintanilla. This week, about a quarter of S&P 500 index companies will report results, including chip makers AMD, Qualcomm, and ARM. It's also a big week for restaurants, led by McDonald's. Investors sent shares of Walmart, Kroger, Dollar General, and Costco lower on Friday. Why? Fear that SNAP food assistant benefits could be cut off or interrupted for more than 40 million Americans in the government shutdown.
Walmart is the retailer that is number one hit, right? They are the largest grocer in America. And Numerator found that more than 94% of SNAP shoppers have bought food there in the last year. And then Kroger is next. And then Costco, even though it requires that membership. And then Wolf Research sort of looks at these numbers and they estimate that Walmart sales related to SNAP are in the high single digit range, but a Dollar General and Dollar Tree are in the mid single digits. So while the annual spend may not be as high at a Dollar General or a Dollar Tree, they sort of over index to a SNAP shopper than a non-SNAP shopper.
CNBC's Courtney Reagan. Eli Lilly shares were higher on strong quarterly results, partly because of strong sales for its diabetes drug Mounjaro and its weight loss drug Zepbound, and pill versions are coming.
We've been ramping both production and planning for really a broad global rollout for orforglipron upon regulatory approval. And it's a daily oral pill. Some people don't want to do the injection to begin with. A lot of people who get to their weight target will want to transition to something less intrusive as a weekly injection. And we think that's a great spot for orforglipron as well. Eli
Lilly CEO David Ricks on CNBC. On today's watch list, earnings are coming from ON Semiconductor and from Palantir. We also get some new numbers on car sales for October.
Thank you. There's CNBC's Jessica Ettinger. 2 men are in custody in England after allegedly carrying out a mass stabbing on a London-bound train. Correspondent Luke Garratt reports authorities have ruled out terrorism as a motive.
A mass stabbing on a London-bound train has left 11 people injured. The attack took place on a long-distance train travelling from Doncaster to London on Saturday night. The train was stopped in the English town of Huntingdon. Armed police were at the scene. 11 people were taken to hospital after the attack. 2 people have been arrested. One is a 32-year-old black British man, the other a 35-year-old man of Caribbean descent.
Officers immediately attended Huntingdon Station alongside paramedics, where armed police officers from Cambridgeshire Police boarded the train and arrested 2 people.
The police are not treating the attack as a terrorist incident, but police are being assisted in their investigation by British counter-terror forces.
This is America in the Morning. Correspondent Donna Warder reports there's a household fixture up for auction with a $10 million starting price tag.
It's the world's most valuable toilet, and it's up for auction at Sotheby's in New York with a $10 million starting price. The commode is solid gold, and it's a sculpture entitled America by Italian artist Maurizio Cattelan. It may be a sculpture, but it's a fully functional toilet, which Sotheby's calls an incisive commentary on the collision of artistic production and commodity value. Last year, Cattelan's work entitled Comedian, a banana duct taped to a wall, sold at a New York auction for $6.2 million. I'm Donna Warder.
Customers of YouTube may notice some channels are missing from their lineup. Correspondent Lisa Dwyer has details.
YouTube TV viewers have lost access to Disney channels, including ABC and ESPN, after contract talks broke down. Other channels like the Disney Channel, FX, and Nat Geo have already disappeared. YouTube TV announced Thursday that Disney followed through on a threat to suspend its content during negotiations. YouTube claims Disney used the blackout threat to push for higher prices, benefiting its own streaming services. YouTube TV expressed disappointment and urged Disney to work towards a fair agreement. Subscribers will receive a $20 credit if Disney content remains unavailable. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
America in the Morning for Monday, November 3rd, 2025 is produced by Alexander Hinton. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One. This is America in the Morning from Westwood One. I'm John Trout. Coming up this half hour.
President Trump says Democrats have lost their way as the government shutdown rolls on. I'm John Stolnis in Washington.
SNAP benefits may soon be heading to millions despite the government shutdown. I'm Rich Johnson.
President Trump says China won't invade Taiwan on his watch. I'm Clayton Neville.
A weekend party turns violent. The suspect on the loose. I'm Katie Clark with details.
It was a relatively slow weekend at the box office, but this yielded a few surprises. I'm Kevin Carr.
Back after these messages. As another week begins with the government shutdown in place, President Trump says it won't end until Senate Democrats vote for the GOP's continuing resolution that passed the House in late September. John Stolnis has the latest from Washington.
Speaking on CBS's 60 Minutes, the president reiterating it's not up to Republicans to end the shutdown, which now enters day 34.
All we're doing is we keep voting. I mean, the Republicans are voting almost unanimously to end it, and the Democrats keep voting against ending it. You know, they've never had this. This has happened like 18 times before. The Democrats always voted for an extension, always saying, give us an extension, we'll work it out. They've lost their way. They become crazed lunatics.
The Senate has voted no on the extension more than a dozen times, needing 5 Democrats to change their minds in order to reopen the government. At issue, Democrats want Republicans to negotiate Obamacare's subsidies, which are set to increase, potentially doubling premiums for millions of Americans. Trump says fixing Obamacare is what's needed.
Obamacare is terrible. It's bad health care at far too high a price. We should fix that. We should fix it. And we can fix it with the Democrats. All they have to do is let the country open, and we'll fix it.
Democratic House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries on CNN's State of the Union can't understand why House Speaker Mike Johnson has kept Republicans home for the last 4 weeks as the shutdown drones on.
Why have House Republicans remained on a taxpayer-funded vacation for the last 6 weeks? They keep canceling votes. They've canceled votes for next week. Of course, they are unserious as it relates to reopening the government. Why has Donald Trump spent more time on the golf course, including this weekend, than he has in talking to Democrats on Capitol Hill?
Trump is urging Senate Majority Leader John Thune to engage the nuclear option, a change in Senate rules that would end the filibuster and the requirement that 60 votes are needed to pass budgetary legislation like the existing CR.
But you know what? The Republicans have to get tougher. If we end the filibuster, we can do exactly what we want. We're not going to lose power. The theory is, then we'll do it, but then when they get into power someday, they'll do it. That's true, but you know what?
So you think
we're here right now. No, I like John Thune. I think he's terrific, but I disagree with him on this point.
On ABC's This Week, Democratic Senator Tim Kaine calls on Trump to engage with congressional leaders.
We're looking for a path to fix people's health care costs, and we're looking for the president to agree that a deal is a deal. Thus far, he's refused to engage, and we avoid shutdowns or get out of shutdowns all the time when the president engages.
John Stolnis, Washington.
It may take a few days, but correspondent Rich Johnson reports it looks like the millions of Americans who receive SNAP benefits will get those funds, even as the federal government remains shut down.
25 states and D.C. sued the White House to make sure that Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program benefits went out. And on Friday, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro was in the middle of an event when he got the word.
The judge in our case ruled that the Trump administration must turn the spigot on and must release these SNAP dollars. That's an important win.
The states had argued that the Agriculture Department has access to a contingency fund of up to $6 billion, some of which could be used to pay for SNAP. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent was asked on CNN, will the administration appeal the order to fund SNAP benefits?
No, but there's a process that has to be followed, so we got to figure out what the process is. President Trump wants to make sure that people get their food benefit.
Bessent said it will be perhaps Wednesday when SNAP benefit debit cards start to be refilled. But But in the meantime, millions are heading to food banks, meal kitchens, and other charities to try to fill the gap. Eric Kurtz dropped off food to a pop-up collection center in Seattle over the weekend.
It's a shame that our government is not able to keep this going right now, but we should still help our brothers and sisters.
Kurtz's comment courtesy of KCBQ-TV. While the funds may go out, it could take much longer than Wednesday for everyone to get them. And Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins told Fox News this controversy has spotlighted what she called a broken and corrupt program.
It is time to drastically reform this program so that we can make sure that those who are truly needy, truly vulnerable, are getting what they need, and the rest of the corruption goes away and we can serve the American taxpayer.
I'm Richard Johnson.
President Trump addressed his recent conversations with China's president and was asked about a potential invasion of Taiwan. Correspondent Clayton Neville reports.
During an interview with CBS's 60 Minutes, President Trump was asked about how the United States would respond if China invades Taiwan.
Would you order U.S. forces to defend Taiwan?
You'll find out if it happens. And he understands the answer to that.
Why not say
This never even came up yesterday as a subject. He never brought it up. People were a little surprised at that. He never brought it up because he understands it, and he understands it very well.
U.S. officials have been worried for years now about the possibility of China using military force against the self-ruled island that it claims is part of its territory. President Trump was asked in the 60 Minutes interview why he can't say publicly how the U.S. would respond.
I can't give away my secrets. I don't want to be one of these guys that tells you exactly what's going to happen if something happens. The other side knows, but I'm not somebody that tells you everything because you're asking me a question, but they understand what's going to happen. And he has openly said, and his people have openly said at meetings, we would never do anything while President Trump is president, because they know the consequences.
The 1979 Taiwan Relations Act ensures that the United States allows Taiwan the resources to defend itself. It does not, though, require the U.S. to step in militarily if China were to invade. I'm Clayton Neville.
A weekend party in Ohio turned violent after partygoers opened fire. Correspondent Katie Clark reports 9 people were injured in the incident.
What started out as a house party for a birthday turned into a scary scene. Someone opened fire and 9 people were injured. Police in Bath Township, located about 15 miles northwest of Akron, Ohio, are busy interviewing witnesses for the shooter's identity and what led to the shooting. The house was rented out through Airbnb. The party promoted on social media, attracting a lot of attention and a large crowd. The suspect went inside the house. When the shooting began, 9 people were injured and taken to local hospitals. Bath Township Police Chief Vito Sinopoli.
This kind of violence is unacceptable in our community, and we're committed to applying all available resources to this investigation. We're actively gathering evidence, reviewing surveillance footage, and interviewing witnesses. We're also in contact with Airbnb and the property owner.
Not far away, in 2017, a drive-by shooting happened. In 2022, Airbnb issued a worldwide permanent ban on parties due to disturbances. No one has been arrested. I'm Katie Clark.
A lawsuit has been filed against a Chicago area ICE facility. Correspondent Christine Fernando reports the plaintiffs claim conditions at the facility are inhumane.
A group of people detained at the ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois, are suing federal authorities over alleged inhumane conditions. They say they were denied food, water, and basic medical care. The class action lawsuit also argues that federal authorities denied detainees private calls with attorneys, and that they also blocked members of Congress, journalists, and lawyers from entering the building. Agents have also allegedly coerced people into signing paperwork they don't understand, leading them to unknowingly relinquish their rights and face deportation. Attorneys paint a bleak picture of conditions in the facility, calling it extremely cramped and smelling of feces, urine, and body odor. One man described people lying on top of each other or on filthy bathroom floors, unable to find anywhere to sleep. Advocates have for months raised concerns about the conditions at the facility, which has also drawn tense protests over the last few weeks.
Correspondent Ben Thomas reports military leaders have ordered the National Guard to train its troops on methods of dealing with civil unrest.
A set of memos circulated this month directs National Guard units in all 50 states and U.S. territories to train a contingent of soldiers to deal with civil disturbances and riots, and to have them ready to deploy with just hours' notice. The specialized course includes the proper use of batons, body shields, stun guns, and pepper spray. The memos specify various numbers for each state's force, often 500 each. In all, they total more than 23,000 troops. In August, President Trump signed an executive order directing the Pentagon to create quick reaction forces that will be available for rapid nationwide deployment, all part of his vision of a muscular role for the military in his crackdown on illegal immigration and crime in U.S. cities. Ben Thomas, Washington.
The ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continues to hold. As correspondent Jennifer King reports, Hamas has resumed the return of bodies of deceased hostages.
The ceasefire in Gaza is holding. Red Cross vehicles carried the remains of 3 additional hostages to Israel, which says they will be examined by forensic experts. In a statement, Hamas said the remains were found Sunday in a tunnel in southern Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu acknowledged the resignation Friday of Israel's top military prosecutor after she admitted she was responsible for leaking a video showing soldiers brutally assaulting a Palestinian detainee at a notorious military detention center. Netanyahu characterizes the fallout from the incident at Sidat Timan as a public relations attack and called for an investigation. Many released Palestinian detainees report frequent beatings by guards and being held for months without charges. I'm Jennifer King.
A robotics company has started accepting pre-orders for its autonomous robot designed to help with household chores. Correspondent Chuck Palm has more in today's Tech Report.
Straight out of 1X Labs and your favorite sci-fi movie, Neo is your charming new butler in humanoid form. The new Android-style robot from X1 Labs is available for pre-order, but there's a doozy of a catch. Your brand new robotic home servant will cost you $20,000. You can pre-order Neo for $99, but that's just to guarantee your spot. Shipping should be around late 2026. X1 touts this as an affordable deal in the grand scheme of things, considering it is an autonomous robot, mostly. Neo does need assistance on tasks that it hasn't mastered yet, and a human monitor can be brought in via teleoperation, but protects your family's privacy and their faces. Neo comes standard with no-go zones like your bedroom or the kids' playroom, and standing at 5'6", 66 pounds, and can easily carry 50 pounds of weight. One reviewer on TechRadar says it's not just another wheeled mop, it's bipedal, empathetic, and built to blend into the chaos of your life. For more, follow me on X, @ChuckPalm.
America in the Morning continues with Monday Sports. Here's Robert Workman.
NFL Week 9 Sunday, 2 AFC division leaders met in Pittsburgh. The Steelers stymied the Colts 27-20, forcing 6 Indy turnovers. A rematch of last year's AFC title game in Kansas City, the Bills got the better of the Chiefs 28-21. Josh Allen completed 23 of 26 passes and accounted for 3 touchdowns. Jaguars edged the Raiders 30-29 in overtime. Trevor Lawrence ran in the go-ahead TD. Devon Hamilton slapped away Geno Smith's pass to prevent the 2-point conversion in OT. Also in this one, Jacksonville's Cam Little set a new record with a 68-yard field goal at the end of the first half. Bears won a wild one over the Bengals 47-42. Joe Flacco threw for 470 yards and 4 touchdowns, 2 in the final 2 minutes to put Cincinnati ahead. But Caleb Williams connected with Colston Loveland on a 58-yard score with 17 seconds left.
When things don't go our way, when adversity hits, we find ways to win for each other. Offense not scoring, defense shows up. Defense and offense may give up a touchdown. Special teams puts us in good field position.
Patriots fought off the Falcons for their 6th straight win. Vikings turned back the Lions. J.J. McCarthy with 3 scores in his return from injury. Last-second field goals lifted the Panthers and the Broncos. Wins for the Chargers, 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks. NBA, the Thunder improved to 7-0, pounding the Pelicans 137-106. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with 30, one of 8 OKC players in double figures. The champs now the last unbeaten team standing because the Knicks knocked off the Bulls and the Suns handed the Spurs their first L. Sixers bounced back from their first loss, slamming the Nets, Brooklyn 0-6, along with New Orleans. NHL, the Lightning down the Mammoth for their 5th straight. Islanders shaded the Blue Jackets, defenseman Matthew Schaefer with 2 goals. The 18-year-old, who was the number 1 overall pick in the draft last summer, becomes the youngest blue liner ever with a multi-goal game, about 6 months younger than Bobby Orr was when he did it in 1966. Kyle Larson won his 2nd NASCAR Cup championship in Phoenix, and today is opening day for college basketball. That's Monday Sports.
Disney has pulled major news, entertainment, and sports networks from YouTube TV. Correspondent Gethin Coolbaugh has details on the reasons why.
YouTube TV viewers have lost access to Disney channels, including ABC and ESPN, after contract talks broke down. Other channels like the Disney Channel, FX, and Nat Geo have also disappeared. YouTube TV announced Thursday that Disney followed through on a threat to suspend its content during negotiations. YouTube claims Disney used the blackout threat to push for higher prices, benefiting its own streaming services like Hulu Plus Live TV and Fubo. YouTube TV expressed disappointment and urged Disney to work toward a fair agreement. I'm Gethin Coolbaugh.
It was a sleepy weekend at the box office, but correspondent Kevin Carr has a tally on ticket stubs.
There were a couple horse races at this weekend's otherwise slow box office.
I thought we would be one big happy family forever. But the universe had other plans.
Regretting You had a strong hold, enough for it to leap into first place with $8.1 million in its sophomore weekend.
How the tables do turn.
In second place was the thriller Black Phone 2 with $8 million. This horror movie was primed well for Halloween weekend and is following almost an identical box office trajectory as its predecessor.
Everybody's after my chainsaw heart!
In third place was the anime phenom Chainsaw Man the movie Reze Arc. Like other Crunchyroll releases, this is slipping fast, but still made a splash.
It's time.
Probably in fourth place is K-pop Demon Hunters, which returned to the big screen over the weekend. I say probably because Netflix did not provide numbers, but this animated hit is estimated to have taken in $5.3 million.
Where's my hair?
Your hair has been destroyed to prevent you from contacting your ship.
Yorgos Lanthimos' Begonia, a story of alien conspiracies and kidnapping, expanded wide over the weekend and managed $4.8 million for 5th place. Finally, Great Scott, Marty, it's worth noting that the 40th anniversary release of Back to the Future made $4.7 million for 6th place. I'm Kevin Carr.
And that's our show for today, Monday, November 3rd, 2025. America in the Morning is produced by Alexander Hinton. I'm John Trout. This is Westwood One.